Hi everyone, welcome to the fourth and the last tutorial of session 3. We are in the process of discussing about formulating and clarifying the research in this session. In this last tutorial, we like to cover two things. First, an example putting everything together and discussing what we have covered so far in an example. Second, we want to discuss the final element, that is research rationale, so that you can provide a justification for your research. And then finally, we will have a summary of session 3. Let's start looking at the example, putting everything together, what we have covered so far. First is to understand the research area. Here the research area is talent management and the sub area is its impact on employee turnover. Then we converted this to a research title, The Impact of Talent Management on Employee Turnover, a study amongst the executive grade employees at Bodyline Private Limited, Sri Lanka. Then the most important point is the research question. We had two research questions. Does talent management have a positive or negative impact on employee turnover? Second research question, does different talent management practices have a different impact on employee turnover? So looking at these two research questions, we wrote the research aim. And the research aim is to describe the purpose of the research. Where are you doing the research? Amongst whom are you doing the research? Who's your target audience? What decisions can they make with the research findings? Then we looked at the research questions and converted them to 3 research objectives. And the point to note here is the research questions are the starting point, and then you develop the research title, the research aim, and the research objectives. As we said, the research objectives always start with the word to, and it tries to operationalize where the research can be done and can be achieved. So the research objectives should have as much detail as possible, so you're very clear where and how are you going to achieve the research results. So have a look at this example, discuss in your group and see how you can convert your research area and the research question to these 5 areas. Now let's look at what we mean by the research rationale. The word rationale means the reason or the justification. We need to provide a justification. Why are we doing this research? Once you come up with the research question, someone can ask you, why do you want to do this research? Why do you want to spend time, money, and other resources? What are the benefits of this research? And therefore, what is the overall justification for this research? So it's very important to identify why are we doing this research? What is the rationale or what is the justification behind this research? What value or what benefits can you add with this research? Okay, when we are justifying a research, there are several ways of doing it. In this table, you find 3 columns. The first one is the area that you can use to justify your research. So in this table, there are 6 areas that you can use to justify the research. The second column, details, we can look at some of the details in each of the 6 areas. And the rationale or the justification is in the third column. Let's take a couple of these examples. First one, you can justify based on your organization. For example, staff turnover can be a big problem for your organization. So it's a performance issue or a key challenge. So based on that, you can say the market norm is, for example, staff turnover is 5%, and in our company it is 15%. Therefore, it is a performance gap and a key challenge for the company, and therefore, this research will add value to the company to bring down staff turnover. Similarly, it could be an industry issue. Example, some of the industries find it difficult to attract new people into the industry. So it's an industry wide challenge, and this particular research can add value so that you can solve or bring proposals to an industry wide issue. Another area is an interesting theory area which is not so much researched or heavily researched, and therefore it's an interesting theory area to further look at it. Or you can look at within an organization or within an industry a particular problem that you want to solve, a significant problem that you want to solve. For example, people are still not comfortable to work in teams, in project teams in particular. That is a problem among Sri Lankans. Therefore, you want to address your research so you can solve that issue. Again, it could be something to do with the audience, or your research might be bringing larger benefits to a particular company or an industry or to an entire nation. So, finally, you need to find a way of justifying your research. Am I doing it for my company? Am I doing it for the industry? Or is it because of a theory area? Or am I addressing a particular problem in my country? Or am I talking about a particular underprivileged audience? Or am I talking about the larger benefits of my research? So you could use one or few of these ways to justify why you are doing this research. Okay, finally let's look at the session summary, and in your additional reading folder you have this form which says MSc Research Methods. What I like you to do is to take a couple of printouts of this document which you can use to build your research. If you see, there are points 1 to 6. You can start making short notes. Use this document as a working document to look at your research area, write your research question, write your research title, make some short notes about the research aim, and write a couple of research objectives, and also make some short notes about the research rationale. I can tell you, you will not get it right the first time. You might have to go through a couple of drafts. Discuss with your colleagues and your group, and also once you get a final draft, you could send it over to me so that I can provide you with some feedback. So if you look at this session, the session 3 was all about formulating and clarifying your research topic. So we first started by looking at what are the good attributes of a research topic and how do you select a research topic. Then we looked at how do we refine the research topic and convert it to the research question, research title, research aim, research objective, and finally looking at the research rationale or the justification. I think now you are equipped to look at the research that you plan to do and start making notes and building your research using this session tutorials.